be a recording. Okay, so we are beginning and we are starting with Julia. Go for it, Julia. Thank you. You can share screen.
Okay, just a minute. Can I start?
Yes, please.
Hello, everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Julia, and I'm an English coordinator in Beit Eckstein High School. I teach students with learning disabilities. They have dyslexia, dysgraphia, ADD, ADHD, and other learning difficulties. Nevertheless, most of them do 4 and 5 points Bagrut. Now I am going to give a presentation which deals with teaching oral proficiency in special education classes. I'm going to share my experience, how to make diplomacy and debate lessons more effective. Good practices. If you teach in Mabar...
Sorry, your
we currently don't see your screen.
Yeah, your PowerPoint's
Really?
not up. Yes. Do you want me to put it up?
do you see it now?
No, Julia, we cannot see your PowerPoint.
I think you're not sharing the right screen.
Really? Can you see it now?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, go, continue.
Good practices. When you teach in Mabar, GAR, and other special education classes, first of all, make sure that you have created a dyslexic-friendly atmosphere in the classroom. What does it mean? You need to greet every student and make an eye contact with each of them. In order to avoid discipline problems, you should give clear instructions so that they will understand and be calm. Some students are talkative, some are shy. Nevertheless, all of them must be involved in the class discussion. How can you do it? You should listen actively and deeply. Some students say only some words, some prefer to give speeches. Just listen to everyone, don't interrupt, don't correct their mistakes, and when they finish, say, good job, everything is okay. How to teach in special education classes and conduct interesting lessons. First of all, use icebreakers. What does it mean? If you have some shy students in the classroom, you can ask general questions. For example, what's news? No news is good news, right? Or then ask about weather or something general. And then you introduce the topic. For example, traveling.
You're on mute. Julia, you're on mute. And also, you're not speaking into your microphone. Please speak into your microphone, okay?
You can ask questions and introduce the topic. For example, traveling. You can ask, have you ever been abroad? Which countries have you been to? When did you last go abroad? And in order to involve less advanced students into class discussion, I usually make them sit in pairs, a weak student with a strong student. So less advanced students ask advanced students. They ask, when did you last go abroad? And the advanced students answers. For example, last year I was in England. I visited the Museum of Harry Potter, and so.
Julia, 1 minute.
Okay. No child left behind. What does it mean? You can create work pages. What works very well? For example, find someone. Find someone who speaks 3 languages. Find someone who has been to different countries. They walk around the classroom and ask other students. Or class survey, or if they talk to each other, it also works very well. Oh, role players are also good. Well, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Julia. Does anyone have any questions before we go on to the next speaker? If you can stop sharing, thank you, Julia. Okay, Talia, you're next. So if you can share your screen, that will be great. Do you want me to share, Talia, your screen?
No, I've got it. Hold on, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Hold on a minute. Hold on just a second. Do you see my screen?
Thank you, Julia. Okay, so now, yes, we can put it into presentation mode, which
Hold
is
on.
slideshow, not share.
Okay, wait a
Thank
minute.
you.
Do you have it?
In a moment, we will.
Fantastic.
Okay, so Talia Nathanson is our next speaker. Thank you, Talia. Begin.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Talia Nathanson. I'm an English teacher at Or Shapira High School in Kfar Saba. I've been a teacher for about 13 years all in all. Previously, I've done other things. So about story exchanges. So about 6-7 years ago, I was on the web surfing in my free time, and I came across an organization called Narrative 4, and I read about them, and I said, boy, oh boy, I need to bring this into my classroom. So Narrative 4 is an international nonprofit organization based in the United States. It's made of educators, artists, and it's led by students. What grabbed me so much 6 years ago to bring this to Israel, to bring this into the classroom? So Narrative 4, I understood, is about exchanging stories where where students get to have their voices heard. And I said, check on communication, check on code, and check on connection, which is basically what the problem, the situation has been constantly between students, between people. Pre-COVID, it was difficult. After COVID, it was even more difficult. What students want is to be seen and heard. And what better way than doing story exchanges, which is the methodology behind Narrative 4. So this is a picture of from yesterday, what I did with my students. We had what is called an object exchange, where each student brought an object, a personal object of their own from home, and they prepared, and it had some meaning to them, and they had a story prepared in advance. This is my 10th grade 5-point class. And they had no idea what they were going to do. They heard a little bit about Narrative 4, and they received the directions, and they did an object exchange, but the object had a story behind it. And as you can see, they were quite thrilled with what they did. So Narrative 4 is in the United States itself, about 200 schools, 4 continents. In Israel, it's done in Or Shapira High School in English, and it's done in the Nazareth Baptist School and the Nazareth Baptist School, the Greek Orthodox School in Ramle, in Harishonim in Herzliya, and we are growing. It's done in Ort Leibovich in Netanya with about 6 or 7 classes with Zohar Yaakov. And it's growing, and we have Samir, and we have more teachers, and we will probably have a PLC next semester, beginning of September 2022. And right now I will continue and show you how we do it, what it's done. So this is how it's done. So a story exchange can be in person and it can be virtual. We have been doing virtual story exchanges in Israel with the United States for the past 3-4 years. Basically, it's called pair, share, retell, and reflect. So a group would be divided into small groups. A class would be divided in a story exchange into small groups of 6 to 8 students with a facilitator who is a teacher. And the kids would be first divided into pairs. They would each tell a personal story of their own, which they had prepared in advance. And then they would listen intently to each other. They would share the story, meaning I would tell the story and my partner would listen to me. My partner would share their story and I would listen to them. And after we had shared our stories, we joined the group and we retell each other's stories in the first person. Why is this important? You ask for empathy, you got it. You ask for social emotional learning, you got it. But most important, in my opinion, is to be seen and heard and make a connection, because everything else is an outcome of that.
Talia, 1 minute.
Great. This is a picture of my students from yesterday doing their object exchange in class. After they exchanged the object, they would receive the other student's object and move to the next person and the next person. They would change identities, they would retell stories. And like I said, I'm showing you some pictures from what has been done in the past. Students become facilitators with time. It's not just the teachers. We had an English day. We had a huge object exchange with the diplomacy class. And I am the person in Israel who can help you to launch this in your classroom. The only thing you have to do in the beginning is to sign up to a story exchange, an online story exchange, to experience it yourself. And you can do that by going into www.narrative4.com and sign up for a virtual story exchange. And once you get the feel of it as a teacher, first person, then you can say, voila, I really like this. Talia, call me up. How can I start this in my classroom? Next week, my 12th graders are doing it for the first time as preparation for their COBE on the 29th with the school in New Jersey. So the possibilities are limitless. So if anyone has any questions, I'll take them. Thank you.
Right. We don't actually have time for questions, but you can all see Talia's details. And as I said, we will be sending out the PowerPoints, and you will have all of the information that you need. So now I would like to introduce Lana. Lana is our next speaker. And so start. Thank you, Lana.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for giving us this opportunity to share our initiatives and ideas. 1 second, please. Okay. And my name is Lana Barqawi. I teach at Al Batuf High School in Al Uzair town. And my initiative is I teach there, you teach here. Now, let me start by explaining my initiative. So I have my 10th grade students, and I teach them specific curriculum with certain textbook and topics. And the other teacher from another country has her 10th grade students who teaches them certain curriculum with different textbook and topics. So she provides me with the topics she teaches to her students. I, along with my students, decide on a topic. So I teach from her textbook to her students, along with mine, of course. And then I provide her with my textbook and the topics. She chooses one along with her students, of course. And then she teaches from my textbook to my students. And all those classes will be held virtually for both classes. Now, let's answer the question of why now am I introducing my initiative. So after COVID-19, we got into a new era that requires special skills. Basically, when we talk about the self-learning, we talk about the globalization, the multiculturalism, and to become a universal citizen, along with the 21st century skills that includes the communication, collaboration, flexibility, critical thinking, and creativity. And we are talking about SEL as well. We are talking about the SEL skills, the social emotional learning and competencies that includes the self-awareness, management, the social awareness, the relationship skills, the responsible decision-making. All those skills could be applied and during these classes. And besides, we should mention the shifts in global education. So the number of the students who are studying abroad is increasing. The number of the exchange programs that are offered by the Ministry of Education is increasing. Plus the COBE is getting into a higher stage that requires higher knowledge from students. And all those could be covered by these skills. by these classes. So what the benefits of our teachers from this initiative? It would provide teachers with opportunities to exchange evaluation by other teachers from the same field. So because we are as teachers are going to attend the classes and we are going to observe, to give feedback, and we are going to be exposed to new teaching methods and different curriculums. It would provide us with new ideas to discuss during the classes. And when we talk about the teachers community, it's going to be strengthened, and it's going to be created as the international teachers community. Now, as for the students, it would give the students the opportunity to meet virtually with their peers around the world, and it would give them opportunities to exchange ideas and thoughts and to learn new phrases and expressions, which would get them high self-esteem and would help them in cope, so that they would feel fluent and they would be easier for them. Basically, when we talk about the rural areas where the schools do not encourage students to go abroad and to participate in the exchange students programs. So by this, I think that this initiative will connect students and connect teachers as well. Thank you very much. If you have any question, I would be happy to answer.
Wonderful, very good. If anyone, we actually have a few minutes, so that if anyone would like to ask any of the speakers so far questions, that would be fine. So I'll open it up for a couple of minutes, and if someone has a question. Claire, you have a question? Yes.
Yeah, hi. Lana, how does that work practically? Are you on Zoom? How do you have the lessons together?
So unfortunately, I haven't got the chance to start it yet, but I'm sure that we are going to use the Zoom as the platform, and we're going to exchange the link so that they would come. And by the way, I think there are some programs that are already, students are connected together. Some of the students are in the class and the other are being displayed in front of them on the screen. So, but this way it would help them to communicate more, to exchange the ideas, and would like to chat with each other.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for our first three speakers. Now I would like to introduce Martine. She's our fourth speaker. Martine, you can share your screen and begin when you're ready.
Okay, so I'm Martine from Dalkanoff-Fegolan. And a few years ago, when asked what I do, I answered, I teach English. I'm an English teacher, pretty simple. Today, I would give a different answer. Today, I think that we unlock discussion, we're creative, we're flexible, we deal with differentiation, gamification if possible. We, of course, are engaging, dealing with cell constantly. We deal with collaborative or give collaborative lessons. We boost learning. Active learning is part of our lessons. We make connections. We teach literature with all kinds of hots like problem solving. We make our lessons interactive, so our students will be interested. We allow for voice and choice, and of course, for independent learning. How does this make us feel? Very, very stressed. And is this working? It's mission impossible, okay? What if I told you that there's a strategy that could help you do all of those things and more? And this is hexagonal thinking. What is hexagonal thinking? Hexagonal thinking is a creative mode for discussion, which allows students to think about concepts in a whole new different way. Students move hexagons around to create hexagonal clusters. You put a word or a term on each hexagon, and then you discuss the connections and build connections between them and defend them well. The goal is to make as many connections as possible and to justify them. No two webs will look the same, and no explanation of connections will be the same. There's no wrong answer in hexagonal thinking. Anything you say, as long as you justify it, is acceptable. The point is to go beyond the surface, critical thinking, and connect ideas in new ways. How do we do this? I would start by demonstrating the process. I just put one together. This is something I did in a lesson about a year ago. It was about the wave. I would first elicit from the students how any kinds of words, themes, characters that are connected to the wave, whatever they shout out or write on the board. And then my question would be, what should go in the center? Let's say that one student says the wave should go in the center, which is usually what the majority say. I write it in a hexagon on the board or just a circle because it's just easier. And I tell them the circles represent hexagons, just an easier thing to draw. And then I ask them, why should that go in the middle? Then I say to the class, does everyone agree? Would someone put something else in the middle? And inevitably, someone would say Nazi Germany should be in the middle. And I would ask them why. And then we would continue to build the connections. And what's amazing is that they see that no matter what they've chosen, it's all okay, as long as they can defend what they've said and they can make the connection and explain it. After I've demonstrated the process, I would hand out about 20 to 25 hexagons to each group of students. This is something done in groups. You can laminate. I've laminated hexagons ahead of time and then they just erase them, or you can just give them out and they can cut them out on paper. I usually give them a bank of words and tell them to choose a certain amount to add other things. You can vary it a little bit by telling them to give them subcategories like characters or themes, quotes, something from your life, something that you're learning in another discipline. Whatever you like, the opportunities, the options are endless. They make their web, you give them about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on your class and how many terms you've asked them to use. And then the third step is presenting or explaining the connections. You can do this frontally, you can do it in groups, a gallery walk, ask them to record, you can get them to take a picture of their web and then get them to write, which here differentiation comes into place because you can ask for a certain number of connections, and it doesn't have to be the same from pupil to pupil. The last stage of the process, which is really important, is the reflection. And this would be asking them questions like, what were the group dynamics like, and so on. How can we use this? There are so many uses. Every single picture here is a link. We don't have time to go into it, but there's for formative assessment. You can use it for brainstorming for an opinion essay. This is fantastic and really recommended. You can use it for pre-reading. You can use it for review, vocabulary, literature. For a summative assessment, I would definitely do writing here. You can use it for the code with clips. You can use it for book tasks or just simply for conversation, or you can use it as an icebreaker. And this is honestly amazing and a fantastic decoration also for your classroom wall. The benefits of this are endless, all of that and more. The rest of my slides are just links to the theory behind it, to the hexagons and just anything else you'd need. Please, please try this.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Martine. I'm not going to leave you time. I know that everyone was like amazing. Everyone was very excited about all of the presentations. I want to give time now to our last speaker, Ariel, and then hopefully we'll have a few minutes for questions for all of the speakers. Okay, so whenever you're ready, Ariel.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ariel from Rishon LeZion Gymnasia Realit High School, and I would like to present to you my project Class 11D's reference book to Arthur Miller's All My Sons. I included the name of the class in the title because I give due credit to the hard work of the class. This is their creation. And before starting the presentation itself, I would like us to browse through the end product, i.e. the digital book, so you could see what a digital book is. So this is the digital book. What we did basically is we divided different categories, themes into categories, and the students designed posters on different topics after writing and rewriting, and it was an interesting project which yielded 24 such posters. My choice of making a digital book serves a threefold purpose. First of all, it asks the students to write, it caters to their creativity, and it requires their accountability. Now, after reading the play, the students have gained some expertise, quote unquote, as regard the play, and it was high time for them to share their knowledge with people who are interested. And basically, it was a wonderful opportunity for them to, first of all, to reflect on what they've learned, then to write, and finally get creative by using visual to illustrate what they have learned. The preliminary activity was for them to browse through what they have, through their notes and notebook, and through the play itself, and come up with a list of 4 to 5 key terms they believed could be used to say something meaningful about the play as a whole, or to highlight a certain character. In class, students shared their concepts, and together we thought of what these concepts meant, how could they be used to say something meaningful about the play, and in what way could we categorize them? What are the categories that we can put them into? And we came up with 6 categories: the aftermath of war, truth and deception, idealism and compromise, different perspectives, disillusionment, and drama. The writing itself was done in 2 stages. First of all, at home, it was their Hanukkah vacation. They had to write, each pair of students had to provide 2 paragraphs of 2 different concepts. And later in class, they shared what they had written on a shared document. And this allowed for peer and teachers' feedback and rewrites. They corrected their content, proofread it, and they had the final final passages. The next stage was to use Canva. Okay, Canva is a site which allows for designing of different posters. If it is free of charge, if you register as a high school, as a school, the students design their posters. And then finally, we uploaded all the different posters onto a digital book. Again, it is a free
1 minute
version of on a site called Flipbook PDF. And I believe that the fact that the student knew in advance that they would have the option to share their work, called for accountability. They had to write something meaningful. It was no longer only the student and the teacher as the audience, but once it is shared, other classmates, other students, and their family members, their friends see their work, and they had to be accountable for what they write. So basically, it was important for them to do a good job. So that's it.
Excellent. Thank you. Firstly, I would like to thank our amazing speakers for presenting their wonderful ideas. It's not easy presenting an idea in 5 minutes. So we all should appreciate the amount of work they put in to these presentations. You've done an amazing job. I'm proud of all of you. We don't have time, and that is lucky that I rushed you all. I know I seem, very strict, but we are now going back to the main room for the entertainment. I am putting the link to the main room in the chat. So if you want to go in from there, you can go in from there, or you can go in from the landing page that you got. We will have another 5 wonderful presentations after the entertainment and after your coffee break. Enjoy the entertainment is wonderful. Get up and dance, even if we can't see you. It's worth it.
Thank you, Simone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, speakers. You are fantastic.
You guys
see you
were
in the
great.
main room. Bye.